Welcome everyone. Here we have Godzilla or Space Godzilla and M.O.G.U.E.R.A from the Super 7 Ultimates line. These are big, chunky figures. The box is huge. Here is a Voyager class Hasbro Transformer just to compare the size here. In my mind, I thought M.O.G.U.E.R.A was larger than Space Godzilla, and there may be some trickery going on. We'll see when we get them out of the box. Godzilla is sort of hovering inside his packaging, and that just may be a theme in general. The front of Godzilla's box, you can see all of his accessories laid out. Here's the top. Here's the side. Here's the bottom. And here's the back with some excellent artwork from the original theatrical poster and a little bit of story about the Godzilla versus Space Godzilla 1994 movie. M.O.G.U.E.R.A's box is just a tad bit smaller. We've got just one accessory from M.O.G.U.E.R.A. Here's the top. Here's the side. Here's the bottom. And here's the back. Same cool artwork from the movie and same bio from the story of the movie. Here we have the tray. We can see the accessories a little bit more. And then there's a tray in the back with more accessories and the tail that will need to be attached. M.O.G.U.E.R.A is a little bit simpler, but we can see that we've got a couple accessories that we couldn't see from the outer packaging. So Space Godzilla comes with a ton of accessories. Obviously, he needs his tail. The tail has these translucent spikes on it, which is very cool and looks really cool in person. He's got these celestial crystals, which he uses to form a fortress. So you can stage these however you want, but the different sizes are meant to be for different layers and levels and to add some contrast. Out of the package, he has closed fists, but he comes with, at what best I can call, weapon holding hands. And then he also has some hands with a little bit more open grip to them. And then besides the head that he comes with, he has an alternate portrait with an open mouth. The head also has a really nice clear plastic crown on top that makes it look really cool. And before you attach the tail, make sure that you heat up this end. You can use hot water or a heat gun to make sure that you don't damage the plastic when you're trying to connect the tail. Even with heating up the tail, it took a good bit of work to push this into the socket. So just be aware. M.O.G.U.E.R.A only has a few accessories. First, it has an alternate head. You'll need to detach the head and the neck. And then you can get M.O.G.U.E.R.A in a flight pose. And then to complete the flight pose, there are these discs on the side that come off and get replaced by these. And then you have these fins to assist with flight that were shown in the movie. So for articulation, Space Godzilla has a ball joint from head to neck, neck to torso. He also has a disc hinge shoulder that is covered up by these rubbery shoulder pads. He's got disc hinge elbow and disc hinge wrist on a swivel. He does have waist swivel. He also has ball jointed hips, so get some fair motion with that. And disc hinge knees, which are going to be pretty stiff. You're going to want to make sure to heat these up before moving them. And same thing with the foot. The foot is on a disc hinge also, but again, heat these up before attempting to move them, as they're going to be pretty stiff out of the box. And last, the tail is fully articulated. Every other section is a section, so every 2 rings is a section, and there's a ball joint from section 1 to section 2 all the way down until you get to the very end. When you get down to the end, it changes to every 4 segments, and then at the very end, no articulation, but you've got some really nice clear plastic going on there. M.O.G.U.E.R.A actually has a good bit of articulation. There's a ball joint from the neck to the head, actually a disc hinge, and a disc hinge from the bottom of the neck to the torso. He's got disc hinge shoulders. This piece over the shoulder is rubber and doesn't interfere with articulation too much. He's got a waist swivel. This silver piece is rubber, so it's more like a skirt. So there is a ball joint at the hips. Technically, there's no knees, and there is a disc hinge on swivel on both sides for the feet. Also, the hand can open and close as shown in the movie, and there's some rotation at the top of the bicep. Last, this robot has a thruster tail, so there actually is a little bit of articulation here. It's a disc hinge. It's limited by the sculpt, but technically this does move. This does have articulation. Also be mindful that these side pieces, once they come off, they just like to continue to come off. So just kind of be aware of that. And just overall with the figures, Godzilla's got some incredibly sharp detail on his eyes. The teeth are very well painted. The color palette comes from the movie, but pretty well executed. The use of the rubbery plastic over the shoulders is pretty cool, and also the fact they did a clear, semi-transparent look is pretty amazing in person. But the purple is well applied. It's not a hard mask. It does blend in a good bit. The toes have a lot of extra paint detail, these little purple accents. Same with the nails on his hand. And then I mentioned it earlier, but these transparent spikes on his back and the tail are just really cool. Like very amazing look in person. Again, with M.O.G.U.E.R.A also benefiting from the actual movie design, those colors are translated into the robot, into the toy, with these really nice silver paint. The ring around his chest is a slightly different color, kind of like a bronzy, purpley copper. You've got these metallic blue stripes. The head has a lot of detail, even with this red and blue accent on the top. The little intake vents on the side are painted along with the nose. You've got these little orange lights on the side, maybe hazard lights or search lights. And then on his tail, you have those same kind of brown copper accents that match up with the other details on the figure. So for comparisons, in this movie, there was actually Godzilla, and SpaceGodzilla. You could consider him kind of like a clone. You should watch the movie to see the actual story play out. But you can sit this Godzilla in with them, and it matches pretty well. So you can kind of recreate those scenes and those looks from the movie. You can also tell that there has been some design changes between their original Godzilla and this movie Godzilla, mostly straying away from having all the sections segmented to go into a design where you have larger sections that are separated instead of every single section. I don't know if that's good or bad. It may help with the cost of the figure, but this does seem quite a bit more posable, in my opinion. And for those who just might want to see these guys with -1, that's what he looks like there. But completely different universe. So overall, really great figures. The articulation is adequate, and in my opinion, actually perfect. We don't need these big bulky figures to have extreme articulation, and I actually even think this guy's got more articulation than he probably needs from a movie accuracy point of view. But for the most part, I really enjoy that these exist. They are chunky, maybe to a fault. They are going to be pricey also, in the $100 range, but the other alternatives out there are SH Figure Arts, which is going to cost a whole lot more than that and be much smaller in scale. So if you're a Godzilla fan and you're just getting in to the property and you're looking for some toys to collect, I definitely feel like Super 7 is going to be the way to go. They're imposing, they're heavy, they're chunky, they're posable, they look great, and amongst the collectible figures, they are going to be a bit more on the affordable side. Now, if Hiya Toys ever decides to branch out from the US Monsterverse Godzillas, they might give Super 7 a run for the money. Thank you all for watching. If you haven't done so, please like and subscribe. I really appreciate it. And please tune into more videos coming up. Thank you.